Hi students, hope all of you are doing well and your preparation for various competitive exams is also going good. See, in this session, we are going to discuss two questions from percentages chapter. In fact, these two questions are sent by one of our YouTube subscribers only. He had mentioned that, sir, I have collected these two questions from different sources. I am able to solve these questions, but it is taking too much time. One question, it took almost 1.5 minutes for me to solve it. Is there any way out? Okay. What his intention is that, is there any method with the help of which we can solve this question with 100% accuracy within the stipulated time? That's what he want to say. Anyway, students, I'll show you the best method for this one. In fact, these two questions can be solved with the unitary method very easily. Of course, I have discussed this unitary method in our regular course. Most of you must be knowing that I am giving video classes in online and pen drive mode. In our regular course, in percentages only, we have more than 10 hours of sessions. And those sessions I have discussed unitary method in a very comprehensive way. But for our YouTube channel subscribers, the students who are following me on YouTube, even for you also, I have discussed 4 lessons on percentages chapter previously. You please go through those 4 lessons to understand the unitary method. I have discussed in first lesson, I think I have discussed clearly what is the unitary method, how to apply that one for percentages chapters. But remember one thing, students, first 3 lessons what I have kept on YouTube were very basic level questions. For beginners, even a beginner can understand the concept of percentage by following those 3 lessons. If you are an advanced student, just finish it off as quick as possible and try to understand what is unitary method before going for these 2 questions. Okay. Now, let's start these 2 questions. Take the first question, students, how they have given. I have just given the question here. First, read the question properly. While reading the question only, you have to analyze that one completely. One of the ways to save time in the examination or in your practice sessions, get it and make it as a habit actually. You should be habituated to that one. While reading the question only, try to analyze that one in one part of your mind. How they have given in an election between 2 candidates. Immediately that should come to your mind. There is an election, only 2 candidates are there. There is no third candidate. Then where all the voters cast their vote and all are valid votes. See, first statement, part of the first statement is very important and it's giving some clues to you. In an election between 2 voters, there is no third candidate. Moreover, all voters cast their vote. Everybody voted, right? There is no person who had not voted. Okay, everybody voted. Moreover, all are valid votes. What did you understand from this one? Simple, students. Suppose if there are 1000 votes, for example, I am telling you, right? Only 2 contestants are there, A and B, that's all. These 1000 votes must be distributed between A and B only. Because there is no invalid vote, all are cast their votes, and moreover, there is no third candidate. This is how you need to analyze that one. Alright, then after that, what they have given, 2/5 of the voters promised to vote for A. They have given the commitment to A, and the rest promised to vote for B. Of these, on the last day, 15% of the voters went back of their promise to vote for A and 25% of the voters went back of their promise to vote for B. And A lost the election by 200 votes. This is the information. And the question they have asked, then the total number of votes is what is the question? Now you tell me, students, what did you understand from this one? How you have analyzed that one? If you analyze the information properly, doing the question is not a big issue. Easily you can do that one. So here the first point already we have analyzed. Only 2 candidates are there. All have cast their vote. There is no invalid vote. That means all the votes must be distributed between A and B only. Second point is that 2/5 of the voters promised to vote for A. They have given the commitment 2/5 of total votes. And rest means 3 by 5 of the voters promised to vote for B. But on the last day, some voters have changed their mind. How they have changed their mind? 15% of the voters went back of their promise to vote for A. That means 15% of the voters, 15% of what? Who have promised to vote for A. 15% of them went back of their promise. That means they have breached their commitment. They have not voted for A, but they have voted for B. That is the inner meaning of that. Many students may be confusing here. 15% of the voters, from those voters who have promised to vote for A, they went back on their promise. That means these 15% not voted for A, but they have voted for B. So A lost in two ways. 15% have not voted for him. They voted for B. How come we come to that conclusion? Because there are only two candidates. All are valid votes. Everybody cast their votes. That means 15% have not voted for A but voted for B. Similarly, 25% of the voters who promised to vote for B, they have not kept their promise. These 25% of those voters who promised for B have not voted for B but voted for A. After the election, after all these process, A lost the election by 200 votes. Then what is the total number of votes is the question. See students, if you go by algebra, this question can be solved in many ways. One of the methods is using algebra. If you use algebra, I am telling you, you may get the answer, but it takes more than 1.5 minutes to crack this question. Simply use unitary method. You can solve this question in less than 25 to 30 seconds, I am telling you. Easily you can do that one, but you should know how to apply unitary method. How to start this one? You just take in this way, students. First, let us take a total number of votes as, you take one convenient figure for you without getting the fractions because time will be saved. Let us take it as 100 I am taking. Okay. It does not mean that you should take only 100. You may take it as 5 votes, 10 votes, 15, 100, 200, 300 as per your convenience. Alright. If total number of votes are 100, this is called imaginary number in unitary method. I started with one imaginary number. I go with the process how they have given in the question. And finally, I compare this one with that of the actual numbers in the question. That is unitary method. Alright, so now here you see total number of votes is 100. Only two contestants are there, A and B. According to the information given by them, 2 by 5th of the voters promised to vote for A. And rest for B. Rest for B means 3 by 5th promised to vote for B. That's it. Then after that they have given something in percentages. Let's do one thing. We can do the question either with percentages or with fractions. Depends upon your convenience. I am going to do this question with the percentages. Now convert this 2 by 5th to percentage. Obviously that is 40%. Simple one. Right? 3 by 5th is nothing but 60%. Alright. Now simply we can do like this. 2 by 5th, 40% of the voters promised to vote for A, 60% promised to vote for B. Now A should get, if nothing is happened, A should get 40% of these 100 votes, net 40 votes. Now B should get obviously 60 votes. That's it. But on the last day of the election, what happened? 15% of the voters did not vote for A, but they vote for B. That means 15% of 40. So what is 15% of 40? Obviously 6 votes, right? 6 voters have not voted for A. So 40 minus 6. But these 6 voters are fetching for B. That is advantage for B. So this 60 plus, actually he has to get 60 plus 6 votes A lost. They have not kept the promise. These people vote for B. Have you understood this? Just focus on this one. Similarly, From B side, what happened? So from B side, how much percentage they have given? 25% of the voters have not kept the promise. So 25% of the 60 have not voted for B but voted for A. So what is 25% of 60? That is 15. 25% of 60. 25 into 6, that is 150. We can take it as 15. So 15 voters from the 60 have not voted for B. So this is minus 15 voters. Alright, but these 15 voters vote for A. How simple this one, students. Just think it over. You need not write anything on the paper up to this extent. If you are perfect, your practice is good, if you have understood the unitary method properly, no need to take anything as X or Y. Simply we can go like this. Total votes are 100. 40% of voters promise for A should get 40. But 15% of 40, that is 6 voters went back, minus 6. But these 6 voters voted for B. 25%, that means 15 voters have not voted for B, but these 15 voted for A. In this process, in total, A got how much? So 40 plus 15 minus 6. You go for this one, this is 55 minus 6, that is 49. So 49 votes, net votes for A. Similarly, for him, this is 60 minus 15, that is 45. 45 plus 6, or if you go by the BODMAS rule, do addition first, subtraction later. Anyway, you will get this one as 51. Yes. Oh. Now, the final step in unitary method. What is the final step? Here, A got 49 votes. B got 51 votes and only 2 candidates are there. Obviously, A lost the election. A lost the election by how many votes? According to my imaginary figure. This figure is imaginary. Okay, according to my convenience. This process is given by the examiner. With imaginary figure, with the process, I got these votes for A, these many for B. Now, difference between these two is 2. So, with my imaginary figure, A lost the election with 2 votes. Lost the election by 2 votes. Got the idea? So, he lost the election by 2 votes. But in the figure, in the given question, the figure is given that A lost the election by 200 votes. Now, final step of unitary method. How is that one? If A lost the election by 2 votes, total number of votes are 100. Got it? If A lost the election by 2 votes, total number of votes are 100. If A lost the election by 200 votes, what should be the total? How simple this one. If A lost the election by 2 votes, total number of votes were 100, because with this 100 imaginary figure only I got 2. Alright, if A lost the election by 200, what is the total number of votes? Simply that is 200 divided by 2 into 100, you will get this one as 10,000. This is the way, students. Just think it over. Can't you do this question within 30 seconds in the examination? Provided you should have adequate practice. You have to practice the questions. Up to this extent, you need not write anything on the paper. Even after that one also, very simply and very easily you can do this one. One more thing, students. You go with this method. First of all, this method is very important for you. Over and above this one, if you think a little carefully, even this can be avoided. You can do the question with mental calculation also, only with the help of percentages. How is that one? See, I'll tell you. You just remember this method also. Actually, I suggest you this method. In all my regular classes for percentages, for that matter, any chapter in quantitative aptitude, almost 85% of the questions can be solved with unitary method. For rest of the 15% of the questions, you should consult algebra. Algebra is not bad, I'm telling you. That is part of mathematics. One of the very important branches of mathematics, algebra is, you can go with that one, but for competitive exams, taking X is unnecessary, that is wastage of time for this type of questions. Alright, you can still simplify the work by taking percentages like this. Actually, A should get 40% of the votes, but 15% of this 40% went to B. So 15% of 40% is nothing but 6%. Yes or no? So from this 40% you take out 6%, remaining is 34%. This 34% plus from B side bonus to A, 25% of 60. 25% of 60 is nothing but, what is 25% of 60? Just calculate very quick. 15. Those 15% plus 34% is nothing but 49. Yes or no? 49% of the votes got by A. For B, how is the calculation? First 60% should be there. Alright, from A side bonus was 15% of 40, that is 6%. This 60 plus 6%, 66% minus 25% of 60. 25% of 60, already we have calculated, that is 15% minus this 15. You will get anyway 51%. Now what is the difference between 49%, 59%? Here we have taken 49 in number, not in percentage. From 149, from 151. So 49%, 51%. Difference is 2%. Now you can make the unitary equation like this. 2% of the votes, because he lost it by 2%. 2% of the votes is equal to 100, this one. In the question they have given, 2% of the votes is equal to 200. 100% is how much? As simple as this one. Now even in this case also, 100 by 2 into 200. You will get the same figure, 10,000. Now you got the idea, right? Orally also you can do this one, but you need a little practice for the second one. Not only second one, but for the first one also you should have adequate practice. Hope you must have understood this one. See students, I have explained this one in a comprehensive way so that even a beginner should understand this one. Our beginner can understand this one. For that reason only, I took this much time to explain this question. In fact, you can do this question in the examination in less than 30 seconds. I am pretty sure about this. In my regular classes, we have discussed many questions of this sort. Okay, now go for the second question also. Second question sent by the same student. Just you take the second one also. Second one also on the board. The second question is there. You make a note of that. Alright. How they have given fresh grapes, even this question also, without writing anything on the paper, you can do that one. Alright. The student who had sent this one, hope you must be watching this one. You use unitary method, not algebra. If you use algebra for this type of questions, you may get the answer, but definitely it will take more than 1 minute to solve the question. Right. What's the question here? Fresh grapes contain 80% water while dry grapes contain 10% water. Just observe that carefully. Fresh grapes contain how much percentage? 80% water. While dry grapes contain 10% water. Then they are given, if the weight of dry grapes is 500 kgs, then what is the total weight when it is fresh? See students, I have not even changed the numbers also because I took it how the student had sent to me. Alright, now you try this question, just pause the video here. The question is there for you. Try to apply the unitary method for this one. Don't use algebra and try to do this question within 30 seconds. If you are a beginner, just take 1 to 1.5 minutes to solve this question. But strictly use unitary method. Slowly you can reduce the time to less than 30 seconds. I am telling you, pretty sure you can get it in less than 30 seconds. Right, pause the video, just try that one. After that, resume the video. Hope most of you must have done this one, right? Just start this one. I'll just do it in 2 steps. You can get the answer. How is that? Just bifurcate this in this way. Fresh grapes and dry grapes. Fresh fruit and dry fruit. Simply you can do like this. The information they have given, fresh grapes contain 80% water. Water is 80%. That means what is the other content in fruit apart from water? That will be pulp. Okay, water and pulp. When water is 80%, pulp should be 20%. That's it. Don't take seed into consideration because let us take it as seedless grape. Even if seed is there also, that should be taken as pulp only. Okay, right. In dry grapes, what is there? Dry grapes, water and pulp content is there, only 2 parts. In dry grapes contain 10% water. Water is 10%. That means pulp is 90%. Okay, now the question here is, if the weight of dry grapes is 500 kgs, then what is the total weight when it is fresh or when it was fresh? How to go for this one? Now they have given the information about the dry grapes. Dry grapes, total quantity they have given 500 kgs. So in this 500 kgs, of course water content is there, pulp is there, water is 10%, 10% of 500 kgs. What is 10% of 500 kgs? 50 kgs. Need not calculate that. Then pulp is 90%. 90% of 500 kgs is 450 kgs. That's it. 450 kgs is pulp, 50 kgs is water. Here you need to use the technique, students. What is the technique? When fruit is fresh, after that it has become dry. In this process, from fresh grape status to dry grape status, when it is converting, what is the change generally occurs? Only water content evaporates. Because that is squeezed out. It is being dried. So only water content is evaporated or taken off. Pulp content is going to be same. Don't go too much scientifically. Generally, if you think logically, from fresh status to dry status, it is converting, it is being converted. What happens? Only water content is evaporated. Pulp content is same. I am just repeating this one, very important point. Water content is getting evaporated. Pulp content is same. That means in fresh grapes and dry grapes, pulp quantity is same, remember. I am not talking about the percentage. Pulp quantity is same. Suppose here 100 kgs of pulp is there. After getting dried, the quantity of pulp is same. Only water will be evaporated. Yes or no? Now here you see, in dry grapes, the pulp quantity, I am writing here. In dry grapes, water quantity 50 kgs, pulp quantity 450 kgs after getting dried. That means even when this fruit was fresh also, pulp quantity is this much only, 450 kgs only. This fruit is dried. After drying, out of 500 kgs, 50 kgs water, 450 kgs pulp. When this dry fruit was at fresh fruit stage also, the pulp quantity was 450 kgs only. It was not changed. There was also 450 kgs. 450 kgs again, after drying also 450 kgs, only water quantity is changed. Now you can apply the unitary method. How to apply this one? Now, in the fresh status, because they have asked the question based on the fresh fruit. What was its weight when it was fresh? Alright, in fresh fruit, 20% pulp, 80% water. Now, simply we can say 20% of the total weight of fresh fruit. 20% of total weight of fresh fruit is, how much it should be? 20% pulp, 80% water. From this status only, it went to dry status. Alright, when it is dried, pulp content was 450. That means even when it was fresh also, pulp quantity was same. That is 450 kgs. So this 20% equal to 450 kgs. As simple as this one. Right? I am talking about the fresh fruit. So 20% of the total weight is 450, then remaining 80% is water. But here the question is, what is the total weight of that fruit when it is or when it was fresh? So here 20% of the total weight is equal to 450. Total is 100%. Always total is 100%. 100% is how much? Now simply here it should be 100 by 20 into 450. So clearly you will get it as 25 times this one. So 45 into 5. Then after that you as 0. 40 into 5, 200. 5 into 5, 25. 225. Then finally 10 here. 225. Finally 10. So 2250 kgs is the right answer. Now think it over, students. Is there anything to be written on the paper for this one? Frankly speaking, yes. There is no need to write. Even if you want to write also, a little part can be written on the paper. Only one thing is very important. Comparison is important. In fresh fruit, 80 water, 20% pulp. Dry fruit, 10% water, 90% pulp. This information is given by them only. And the fruit is in the dry status now, weighing 500 kgs. Out of this 550 kgs water, 450 kgs pulp. One very important thing is that pulp quantity will not be changed. So even when it was fresh also, 20% equal to 450. Then 100% is how much? 2250 kgs was the weight of the fresh fruit, fresh grapes here they have given, right? The weight of fresh grapes was 2250 kgs. When it is dried, water evaporated, then it has become 500 kgs. Then water percent is 10%, pulp 90% in the dry fruit. When it was fresh, this is the status. Hope you must have got the idea. Very simply you can solve this question. See students, for all not only our students, anyway our students are sending their doubts and in the doubt section, and immediately we will solve that one and send it across to them. Even for those students who are my subscribers on YouTube channel, you can send the doubts, no problem, right? You just send the doubts to chakravarthysir@gmail.com. chakravarthysir@gmail.com. You please post that one. As in when I get time, definitely I am going to solve the question and explain that one on YouTube. Alright, and finally students, my request is that if you have not joined our classes yet, you just go for the classes, because I have used all my 24 years of experience in quant, reasoning and English. All subjects are taught by me only. Total 360 plus hours of videos are there. If you are interested, you please utilize that opportunity. Thank you very much students.